Welcome to the course. With online courses in particular, I think it can be somewhat difficult to develop a good mental map of the course, to understand the course flow, and to understand where different documents and activities and things like that reside. So the purpose of this virtual lecture is just to help you develop an understanding of some of those things. Let's begin by taking a look at the course syllabus. The course syllabus resides in the course documents folder for the course. You must know where the course documents folder is because that's where this virtual lecture also resides. And if we scroll down a little bit on the syllabus, we can see a section called Logistical Overview Flow of the Course. And as it says here, the course consists of 18 learning units. A learning unit is roughly analogous to a chapter in the text. We cover 1 to 2 learning units each week. The course schedule tells you what learning units will be covered when. So let's take a look at the course schedule. We can also see the course schedule on Blackboard. Here's the course schedule. You can see that the course schedule has 5 different columns, and it's also divided into rows, and each row is a learning unit. The first learning unit that's listed here is just some housekeeping things for the course. The second learning unit is the first learning unit of actual content that we'll cover, and the topic that we'll cover, the name of the learning unit, in other words, is called Total Quality Management. And you can see in the first column that we'll cover that in the first week of the course. And if you skip over to the fourth column, you can see some specific dates. We'll talk about those dates a little bit more in just a minute. If we turn back to the course syllabus, you can see the general sort of flow of activities for each learning unit. The first thing to do for each learning unit is review the objectives and the review questions, followed by doing the assigned reading, attending 1 or more virtual lectures, completing any exercises or homework that are assigned for the learning unit, revisiting the objectives and the review questions, making sure that you're comfortable answering the review questions and that you understand the objectives, and then taking a quiz by the date specified on the course schedule. This is presented in more detail on the course schedule. So for example, for our Total Quality Management learning unit, we can move over to the third column, and actually the third column and the fourth column are really kind of the heart of the matter. The third column is stuff to read, watch, or listen to during the learning unit, and the fourth column is stuff that you've actually got to do. As it says back on the syllabus, the first thing to do for each learning unit is review the objectives and the review questions. Those kind of key you in to the important material in the reading, in the virtual lectures, and so on. And research has shown that if you're sensitized to that material ahead of time, you'll retain it better. The review questions and objectives are located in Blackboard's course documents area, as it says here on the top of the class schedule. We can just take a quick look. I'm still in the course documents folder. If I scroll down a little bit, I get to the Total Quality Management folder. There's a folder for each learning unit in the course, and the very first thing in that folder are the objectives and review questions for the learning unit. You can also see the other things that are associated with the learning unit. Some reading from the text. We generally have reading from the text for just about every learning unit. There's also a little mini case for this particular learning unit, and 2 virtual lectures. Where can you find that stuff? Well, if we go back up to the first column on the course schedule, it tells us where we can find this stuff. Except for the text readings and a book called The Goal that we'll read later in the course, you can find everything in this column in Blackboard's course documents section. Again, if we just take a look, as promised, here's the FastPack case, and here are those 2 virtual lectures. And generally you can also find PowerPoint slides that are associated with the virtual lectures and any other types of materials that might be important for the learning unit in this course documents folder. Let's go back to our course schedule. So again, the third column are things to read, watch, listen to for the learning unit. The fourth column are activities for you to do, such as quizzes, homework, and that kind of thing. If we go back to our Total Quality Management learning unit here, you can see that there is some homework, and the homework needs to be done by January 24th. The dates on this document may differ depending on the semester in which you're listening to this presentation, but the concept, of course, is the same. You need to do the stuff by the dates listed. Generally for homework in this class, we don't turn it in unless you're told otherwise. So after you've done the reading and attended the virtual lectures, which are these narrated type of presentations, you should go back and take a fresh look at the objectives and the review questions, write out the answers to the objectives and review questions, or explain them to a friend, because research has shown that there's a big difference between just kind of looking at something, just kind of reading over something and saying, I get it, and actually articulating the answer or articulating the concept either in writing or orally. The biggest distance in education is the distance between your eyeballs and your ears and your mouth or your pen. Taking the time to write things out, to articulate things, will help you cement your understanding of those concepts. So, after you've done that, it's time to take the quiz. We can also see our quiz listed here on the course schedule. As it says here on the course schedule at the very top, except for the review questions and objectives, which are in the course documents folder, everything else in this column can be found in Blackboard's assignments folder. So let's take a quick look. Here I'm still in the course documents folder, so let me back up. Actually, let me, over on the left-hand side here, click Assignments. And again, there's a folder for each learning unit in the course. If I click on Total Quality Management, I can see the homework that we talked about earlier. And I can also click on the quiz for the course. Now, I mentioned before that we generally don't turn homework in the course. Homework's not part of your course grade, in other words, but quizzes are, as you can see from the syllabus. That can get a little bit confusing, understanding what you need to turn in, what counts for your grade and what doesn't. But a key to understanding that is looking for things that are bold. If something's bold, due date is bold, I should say, in this course schedule, then that indicates that it's something that's part of your grade. As it says on the course schedule, things are due at 11:55 p.m. on the due date unless indicated otherwise. And with quizzes, after the quiz due date, a practice version of the quiz becomes available. You have to take the quiz before the due date for the quiz to count as part of your grade, but regardless of whether or not you take the quiz by the due date, this practice version of the quiz becomes available after the due date, and that's simply to help you study for the exams, help you test yourself again, or just simply review the material. The mechanics of the practice quizzes versus the graded quizzes are covered on your course syllabus in this section under quizzes. There's a little bit more discussion of quizzes here under grading. As it says here, there are 18 quizzes in the course. you need to pass 13 of those quizzes. To pass a quiz, you have to take it on time. You have to take it by the due date. If you don't do that, you get a 0, and you have to get at least 70% of the items correct. So I don't expect that you pass every quiz, but you have to pass most of the quizzes in the class to get all the quiz points for the class. If you don't pass 13 of the quizzes in the class, then this section of the syllabus here describes how your quiz points for the course will be calculated. Hopefully that will not apply to you. We also have some exercises from time to time in the class. Those are also covered on the course schedule. For example, we've got an exercise here as part of Learning Unit 5. I think that's our first exercise for the course. So to review, the general flow for the course is review the objectives and the review questions, read the assigned readings, attend the virtual lectures. Those are narrated PowerPoints like the one you're listening to right now. Complete any exercises that are assigned or other assignments such as homework. And then actually write out the objectives or review questions for the learning unit, and then take the quiz. As I pointed out, the locations of those different materials and different activities are all indicated on the course schedule, and this section of your syllabus also indicates where those materials can be found. The resources here in gray are the resources that we've discussed. This document also indicates where a few other things, such as questions and answers and exams and things like that, can be found. I'm looking forward to teaching the class this semester. I hope you're looking forward to taking the class. I'll see you online.